what does Weber have to say about class struggle? First of all, class situation, to emphasize that again, is based purely on economic interests. Class situation or a class is not a group, it's simply a shared situation or position in the market. And class situation can be structured by different markets. By the labor market, it determines the price of labor, how much wages you can garner for the skills that you have to offer. By commodity markets, how much you have to pay for the goods that you need in the market. And by capital markets, the price of money, how much you need to pay to get a loan. All of these markets, any markets, are of course based and structured themselves by the legal order, the laws that govern how capital markets work, how commodity markets work, how labor markets work. Yeah? I mean, there are laws on what it takes to even create or incorporate a business. Okay? There are laws that determine who has rights, ownership rights to capital. Yeah? So all of these markets do not operate ever free of any rules. Yeah? There are rules, laws that determine how these markets can operate. Now the interesting thing that Weber says, and that's the second big difference to Marx's discussion of social class. He says that the operation of any of these markets, the uneven operation, for example lowering the price of labor so low that there is no living wage, these in itself, the uneven operation of markets in itself does not lead to class action. In order for class action to happen, there have to be certain cultural conditions. This is really a way, Weber's way of explaining why there is not as much class struggle as there should be following Marx's ideas. Because if class struggle is directly determined by the economic situation, we should see much more class struggle. Okay? Because of the uneven operation of the laws of capital. But we don't. I mean, we see big class struggle only once every while. So there have to be certain cultural conditions for those in a specific class situation to actually come together and act based on those common interests. If you want to read that with me on page, where is it? 169, the right-hand column. Okay. This is pretty much at the top third. For however different life chances may be. So the operation of these markets structures your class situation, meaning it produces very different life chances for people in different class situations. If you have no property and you have few skills to offer, your life chances, your ability to buy certain goods and live at a certain standard of living will be very different than if you own property and a certain kind of property, like financial property, for example. So Weber writes that for however different life chances may be, this fact in itself, according to all experience, so this is what experience shows us, by no means gives birth to class action, that is social action by the members of a class. Yeah? For that to happen, in order for class situation to lead to class action, for that the real conditions and the results of the class situations must be distinctly recognizable. So it must be obvious that life chances depend on the operation, on the uneven operation of these markets. For only then the contrast of life chances, the vast differences in life chances, can be felt not as an absolutely given fact to be simply accepted, but as a result from either the given distribution of property or the structure of the concrete economic order. So in other words, there will be class action only if to those who share class situation it becomes obvious that their life chances are in fact structured through these markets. Only when it becomes obvious that this is not simply that just happens, but it has something to do with how the economic order is organized. That there's something systemic about it. It's not accidental.